Right? Making the front just cut the front side and then cut the back part.
We are at Molar Manor 2004.
Well, Molar Manor is actually a part of my collection that has evolved over the last 15 years. I actually started collecting and putting 4 pieces in my dental office for my patients to enjoy for the month of Halloween. And through their enthusiasm, it kept on going and getting larger and larger. And finally, we would have crowds of 1,000, 2,000 people waiting in line the day before Halloween for our annual party event. But slowly, I kept on buying, and it was too big for my office, so I brought it over to my house for a couple of years. And in my house, it took 3 years, 4 years in a row, we built it in my house, and on the outside a graveyard and a haunted maze.
Well, Dr. Ron and I started out, as you well know, he did everything in his office, and then when he moved it to the house, that's when I got involved in it then, because he's my neighbor. I live right around the corner from him. So then we moved it to the house. Then every evening after work, I'd get home generally sooner and head over to Dr. Ron's house, starting pretty much what we'd start in end of August. We'd start setting up the preliminary stuff that we could set up in his driveway, and then as it got closer to Halloween, then we moved into the grass and every place else. And then the moving truck would come like a week or so, generally a week before the event. The moving truck would come and bring us all the animated pieces, but we had all the non-animated pieces were all set up. We were just waiting then, weather permitting. Of course, that was always an issue at home. That's why we ended up having to move here, because we'd get rained out or winded out or something, and we'd be trying to maintain the integrity of all the pieces by covering them up with tarps and having to fix this and fix that. So the last year I said, Ronnie, we can't do this at home anymore. You far surpassed anything that we could ever put together anymore, simply because it either rains or windy. We don't have enough electricity. We bring in generators. We had to bring in air compressors because we didn't have enough anything on the homeowner level, right? So that's how it evolved into this.
And finally, the final straw was when it took 4 large semi-moving truck vans to bring everything in. It took 3 months just to set up on a temporary, one-night basis. I knew it was time to move on. So this is how finally Molar Manor now has a final resting place inside the Valencia Industrial Center. Well, the power supply in here is quite incredible. The entire 5,000 square feet was contracted with a building contractor and electrical contractor. All the wires are hidden. We have 2 large sub-panels controlling all the animatronics. We have an incredible power source giving them air and life. I brought this power source in from Australia. It's actually called a hydro vane. This is where the fabulous hydro vane is pushing most of the air for the animatronics. We converted a large compressor into a storage tank to accumulate initially the air from this hydro vane. And if you notice, all the animatronics are set up on 2 panels here with a ball valve system that when they push the air through, the lines go out to each of the animatronics in the 5,000 square foot warehouse. If we do have a problem and one of the air lines break or something happens with the animatronics, if it gets out of control, we can very easily, my control person can come in here and we can shut off the air line to that one animatronic, and then the whole rest of the entire show for the event for the evening can still go on and no one would ever know the difference. And when you're talking about 30 things popping and going off as you're passing by from sensors or from foot pad controls, it takes a lot of air to control them as well as power. So we have maxed out in this building. There is no more power to get except for maybe on a stormy night. Well, Well, welcome to Molar Manor. I mean, this is the first entrance room that you come to, and this is described as the mummy's tomb. This room is very uniquely done if you look at all the carvings that I've done on the floor and on the ceiling and the walls. We've actually brought in Egyptian sand to make it very authentic. There's a mummy tomb that's here that when the guests first arrive, that they will be greeted. The mummy will actually raise at the strip and greet them. This is one of my other great little pieces. This is a creature in a box. This is always in a mummy's tomb. You'll find a creature that's been left over, and occasionally he becomes alive, and as guests come by, he activates and tries to scare them as well as try to come out and greet them. Molar Manor is my personal collection. It is designed and put together in a 5,000 square foot warehouse. Shall we enter? These gates are ancient. These gates, each of them weigh 400 pounds apiece. It was quite a big chore to add them to the gates of Molar Manor for the graveyard, but a very good friend of mine was able to design the framework, which allows you to enter into the gates of Molar Manor. And as you see here, this is a fabulous 15-foot giant demon. He is what is considered an animatronic. He moves back and forth and growls and greets the guests as they arrive, because he is the guard of the gates. Everywhere you look at, you'll find something special. Something will pop out at you, or something will greet you. He's a nice little fool that likes to shake everybody's hands. As you notice, as you walk through the graveyard, the detail is fabulous. I had a wonderful designer that came in and totally detailed everything to studio specifications. Everything is hand carved. All the foliage is real. It's combined with all the animatronics that really give you a very eerie, spooky effect. This is one of my favorite attractions. This is called the Witch's Cauldron. This is a designer animatronic, actually one of 3 items that were made from a company out in Ohio called Monster Makers. I feel very honored to be able to have this in my collection. Beautiful animatronic of old witches cackling over a cauldron, reading incantations. This is a great animatronic. It has 5 functions. It's a wolf design. A real find. You can't find this anywhere. Just like to know what happened to Little Red Riding Hood. This room was actually dedicated for my involvement in TV. I used to love watching haunted pictures on TV, and Alfred Hitchcock was one of my mentors back then, along with Twilight Zone. So this room is dedicated to Alfred Hitchcock and the birds. Of course, the demon, the sitting ghoul, is always here to protect the room. Well, we might as well enter the laboratory. Just a little fun. He was one of my first violent electric pieces. He's been with me for about 10 years. We had to replace his upper body last year. He was being electrocuted so many times he finally short-circuited. This is a fabulous piece. This is from a company called Distortions. This is called Gallows, and he hangs all night long and never complains. Fabulous piece. You can never have enough ghouls. This is a beautiful design of a back graveyard going to an old ancient house, and very pretty setting with the Gothic tombstones and very earthy colors of the foliage. Very nicely built house. Little pieces of wood, which is beautiful. And then as we come this way down the path, we have a guard dog. Mad dog. He's a good dog, but he's mad. This is a great part of the house I enjoy. This is the path that through the front door. This is a great little granny witch's piece. She sits on her staircase and greets the guests as they come into her home. She's a quick old lady. This is a beautiful room. This is a music conservatory, and this is where the children of the night come and play. Nice library of items to enjoy. Music jukebox there for them to enjoy also. Very nice, cozy room. And now on the other end of the music conservatory, we have the burning ballerina. She can't dance enough, I'll tell you.
Hey, you! Don't read.
The talking head. This is awesome. I love this talking head. He used to work for Chef Tony. Chef Tony comes on the weekends for gourmet meals, but I think Chef Tony used part of his body for the last week's dinner.
Hey, you!
Of course, Chef Tony has a nice array of torture devices here. Meat tenderizers are up there working for this evening. A little shish kebab. A little draining of the blood.
Hey, you!
For purification.
Don't leave!
And of course,
Help me!
his Chef Tony's butcher pig. This, what we're entering here, is the icing on the cake, the dessert of Molar Manor. This is the newest attraction. This is the exorcism elevator. We have created a church facade to encase the elevator, and if you notice here, it's very, very, very authentic looking here. And we offer a sacrifice of 8 to 10 humans per elevator ride. They all come out a happier person on the other side. And this is our exit out of Molar Manor. And we're back into the beautiful graveyard where we started. Everything's still intact, and it's a wonderful experience. Probably the in items of expenses, I mean, you can talk from the cheapest little item of $10, which is a novel little decoration that we have. Some of the animatronics are running all the way up from $15,000 to $18,000 a piece. You're probably looking at a collection here of probably $500,000 of of animatronics and improvements to allow Molar Manor to be what it is today. Well, you talk about for the last 3 years, not only has Molar Manor been under construction, but it's usually before our event, it's been a 6-month intense every night. People working here, getting it prepared.
It is here, yeah. There,